Hi guys, Mr. Gillen here, and during this video we are going to continue on with simultaneous equations and solving through a process of elimination. However, we're going to look at more complex examples. So, if we look at equation 5y plus 4x equals 13 and 3y subtract x equals 1, we want to solve these equations by elimination. So, we're not going to change a lot about our process, we're only going to add in one wee extra thing really. So the first thing we're going to do, as always, is we're going to label our equations 1 and 2. Usually at this point what we would do is we would identify a variable that's got the same value, and then we would look to either add it or subtract in order to cancel one of them out. Unfortunately, with this one, we've got 5y and 3y, we've got 4x, and we've got the subtract x or negative x. So there isn't anything immediately that jumps out that we can cancel. What we're going to have to do instead is we're going to have to do a wee bit of cross multiplying in order to change the equations and allow them to then let us eliminate a variable. So that's the big difference here, and we're going to look at doing that just now. So, first thing we have to do is we have to decide what variable we want to eliminate. Do we want to get rid of the y or do we want to get rid of the x? It doesn't really matter. It tends to be personal preference. I'm going to choose to get rid of the x, and the reason being is because they're smaller numbers. Now, how do I do that? Well, we've said in the step we're going to cross multiply by the number in front of the variable. So I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 1 because there would be a 1 in front of that negative x. And I'm going to multiply equation 2 by 4 because there's a 4 in front of the x in equation 1. So if we do that quickly, we get 5y plus 4x equals 13, and we get 12y subtract 4x equals 4. Now we're in a position that we're familiar with. We've got a 4x and a negative 4x. Quickly relabel them. So we'll call that one 3, and we'll call that one 4. And then we're going back into our original process. We've now got something that we can cancel out. We said in the last video, if it's different operations, then we add. So I'm going to tell whoever's looking at what I'm doing, what I'm going to do. I'm going to add equation 3 and equation 4 together. 5y plus 12y is 17y. 4x add negative 4x cancels out. And 13 add 4 gives me 17. And then, as always, we solve to find our variable. So we've got 17 over 17. So in this case, y is equal to 1. At that point, we still have to find the value of x. So, like previous examples, we have to substitute into one of our equations. I'm going to choose equation 2 because it's slightly easier numbers. So I'm going to tell them again what I'm doing. Sub y equals 1 into equation 2. So that becomes 3 bracket 1 subtract x equals 1. So 3 subtract x equals 1. I've now got an equation, and I'm just going to use my rules of equations to solve that. So that 3 needs to be over here. I've got negative x equals 1, subtract 3, opposite side, opposite operation, negative x equals negative 2. I want x, I want positive x, so in order to get that, remember there would be a 1 in front of it. I'm going to divide by negative 1, so x is equal to 2. Last but not least, as always, state your final answer. So x equals 2 and y equals 1. So the big change there is we're adding in that cross multiplication. Let's look at another example. This time we've got 5y plus 2x equals 12 and 4y subtract 3x equals 5. Again, there is no immediate variable that we can cancel out. So we're going to have to use this new step again, where we do a wee bit of cross multiplying. I'm going to choose the x again, purely because smaller numbers. So this time I'm going to multiply equation 1 by 3, because there's a 3 in front of the x in equation 2. And I'm going to multiply equation 2 by 2 because of this x, because of the 2, in front of the x in equation 1. So that's going to give me 15y add 6x equals 36. And then we'll get 8y subtract 6x equals 10. Relabel them, so I've now got 3 and 4. And because I've got two different symbols, two different operations, I'm going to be adding 3 and 4 together. So I'm going to have 23y, 6x subtract 6x is 0, and 36 add 10 is 46. And then I'm going to solve to find my value for y. So in this particular example, y is equal to 2. At that point, same as always, I still need to find what my value for x is, or my value for the other variable. So I need to substitute into one of my original equations. Y equals 2. State what I'm going to do, so I'm going to sub y equals 2 into, again, it doesn't really matter what equation we use. I'll put it into number 1 this time, because the values are going to be the same. So I've got 5 times 2, add 2x equals 12. So that's going to give me 10, add 2x equals 12. I've now got it in a familiar equation. I need to bring this 10 over. So I've got 2x equals 12. Opposite side, opposite operation. So it's going to be subtract 10. So 2x equals 2. X is going to be 2 over 2. So x equals 1. And as always, at the end, state your final answer. So that's the next step on, where we have to multiply the original equations in order to find a way to cancel out one of the variables. That's all from me just now. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact. This is Mr. Gillen signing off. Speak to you all soon.